I kept looking at him just to see if he'd react at all. And then, the envelope caught my eye. The envelope said, Okonogi Gardeners, and had some numbers that looked like a phone number. Fortunately, I have a good eyesight. I memorized the number. If they are a death squad, the gardening company must be a camouflage occupation. Probably doesn't even exist. Okay, so we could just call the number. Okay. I wanted to find out. I looked for a phone. There's only one phone. It's in the teacher's office. Fortunately, the teachers were chatting in the hallway, looking at the gardeners. It was now or never. I made sure nobody was watching me and go into the teacher's office. I rushed in and grabbed the phone on the principal's desk. I went over the phone number in my head and dialed it up. I'm glad they have a touch tone phone. It would have been difficult if it was rotary dial. If somebody answered, I only have to ask, is this the Okonogi Gardeners? I'd wait for the answer before hanging up. It should be easy. It connected. I felt a cold chill run through my body from the bottom of my feet. Wait, don't make a quick judgment. I might have remembered the number wrong. No, I know I remembered it right. It was an easy number to remember. It's impossible to remember it wrong. Then, did I dial it wrong? I put the phone down and started over. This time, I dialed the number more slowly. The teachers might be coming back at any time. In that situation, it was risky to do anything slowly. Yeah, the thing is, I could just say, oh, it is a wrong number. Thus, we are talking about a secret entity that is using this as camouflage, but it could also be possible that Rena is remembering wrong and she's just in a panic right over here. I don't know. But I needed to make absolutely sure. It's the same. There's no doubt. The company Okonogi Gardeners doesn't exist. It's just a camouflage occupation for the Sonozaki family's death squad. I was too stunned to put down the receiver. The announcement kept running over and over again. The voice was cold and creepy. I hung up the phone and rushed out of the teacher's office. I ran to the bathroom and held my head in an attempt to cool down. Calm down, Rena. Calm down, Reina Ryu. Stay cool, Reina Ryu. I wasn't safe here anymore. If I stayed here, I may be erased, even in the open. They erased me? Why? They aren't certain that I have the scrapbooks. I told Keiichi-kun where I hid the scrapbooks. Yesterday, I told him I hid them in my hideout in the garbage dump. Is Keiichi-kun in cahoots with the Sonozaki family? Okay, now you're just going too far. You're being way too paranoid at this point. I felt as if my head was a pot that was cooking some dubious stew. There was only soup in my brain. I mean, it surely doesn't help that Keiichi actually talked to Mion about this, so in Rena's eyes, he is definitely going to be suspicious. Oh boy. This is going to be chaotic. I cut up clues, information, and facts just like I'd cut vegetables, and threw them into the pot. Some of them were floating in the surface, and others were on the bottom of the pot. They were being cooked in a boiling soup. No. It can't be. Keiichi-kun is on my side. He's the only one who's on my side. He held out his hand to me at the trash piles. There was no lie in that hand. When he grabbed my wrist, I felt nothing but his strong and pure heart. He promised me he'd be on my side. I shouldn't doubt Keiichi-kun. He's the only one I should trust. He's the only one who is on my side right now.
ごめん、ケイチ君。危うく君を疑いそうになった。本当にごめんね。本当にごめんね。
I said it aloud on purpose, full of regret that I doubted Keiichi-kun, the only one who is on my side. Now that I think about it, whether I have the scrapbooks or not might not matter to them. Erase anyone who is suspicious. That's the safest way. Does that mean they're in a hurry? The day of Oyashiro-sama's revival might be just around the corner, and that's why they are trying to get rid of any small fish bones that are stuck in the throat, by any means, before it's too late. You know, The scrapbooks also talked about Judgment Day, which would mean like the death of Oyashiro. I don't know if Rena would come to the conclusion that Rika would actually eventually die, because that would actually help me if we were to do something with Rika. The day of Oyashiro-sama's revival. Well, either way, the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival, if Rena was looking at the scrapbooks and was talking about like their incarnation of Oyashiro and, you know, like writings about Rika, since she would be like the reincarnation, you would think that Rena would say something about Rika or think something. Maybe there's something suspicious about Rika as well. I don't know. I don't know what Rena's thoughts about Rika are. We don't need her anymore. Just erase her if you are worried so much. I could easily picture Odo Sonosake saying that. Picture? No, she did say that. That's why they're here today. What should I do? What should I do? Should I wait until school is over? I was like a fish in a pond. No matter how many times I escaped from the net, I was in the pond. And they own the pond. I didn't stand a chance. Then, what should I do? I couldn't keep escaping from the net. I should get out of the pond. I didn't know how to fight them. I didn't know how was on my side. I was about to give in to despair. For now, I have to think about how to survive this, so I at least have time to think about how to fight against them. I have to get out of this pond. When I was about to leave the bathroom, one of my classmates came in. I pretended to be sick and talked to the girl while leaning on the wall.
ごめんね。私、ちょっとどうしても具合が悪くて。早退するからって先生に伝えておいてくれないかな。
I shouldn't let Chie-sensei know that I'm leaving school early if I'm trying to run away from them. But if I didn't, they might think I ran away without cause. That might lead them to chase after me without mercy. If that happens, I don't stand a chance. They were planning to capture me after school is over, but I happened to feel sick and left school early. If they took it that way, they wouldn't think that I noticed the news tightening around me. I was about to go back to the classroom to get my bag, but I changed my mind and turned around. I didn't need my bag anymore. I realized nobody was watching me, so I stopped pretending to be sick and started running. Alright, well, that was quite something.
千恵先生、ここがおかしいですぞ。
おかしい？どうかなさいましたか？
見積書と請求書の日付が空欄になっておりますぞ。ここは今日の日付ではないのですかな？
ああ、そこはお役所の都合らしいんです。見積書の日付と請求書の日付が同じだと、なんだか都合が悪いそうで。
Okay. Well, at least that part is true. It doesn't have anything to do with, like, Rena being turned into blank, which would mean erased, or whatever Rena was thinking at the time, no.
庶務係さんから空欄にするよう、よく念を押されています。
あとそれから、請求書に書いてある電話番号と、封筒に書いてある電話番号が違っていますぞ。どちらが正しいのですかな？
あらやだ、本当ですね。社長さん！
はい、どうしましたね？
請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒の電話番号が違ってますけど、どちらが正しいのですか？
請求書の方の電話番号が正しいんで大丈夫ですね。先代の事務所の時の封筒がまだだいぶ余ってたもんなんで、すんませんね。バイトの子に全部新しい番号のハンコを押しとくように言ったんだけどな。
Well, you know, I would tend to actually believe that. Because if we're talking about a secret entity slash part of the organization and they are going this far into a mission of disguising themselves and being part of the village so that they can complete their mission, they wouldn't really put a fake phone number that leads to nothing. They would put like a phone number that will lead like, if they were, like, in cahoots with, like, a secret entity and they're not actually gardeners, they would put, like, a phone that would lead them to some person that would answer and tell them, oh yeah, this is the gardeners, the Onigafuchi gardeners, or whatever, even though they secretly are not the Onigafuchi gardeners. Them being, if they were not Onigafuchi gardeners and there were some secret entity pretending to be gardeners, it would be kind of stupid to put just random, with like a random number. At least put like a number that would actually work to like, you know, make somebody believe on the other phone that, oh, it's actually the Onigafuchi Guardians. Okay. So, with that being said, maybe these guys truly are gardeners. Which, again, doesn't necessarily mean that it contradicts the idea that maybe there are some people in white vans with working suits, like actual black suits from the government that are following them. It's just that it just so happened that these guys are just regular gardeners. Just pure coincidence.
すんまへんすんまへん。消しておいてもらえますかね。
Oh boy. Okay. Alright, another lunch takeout. Okay. a.k.a. A medical report. The danger of a culture-bound syndrome lies in the fact that it can easily trigger delusional misidentification syndrome. That is to say, in the current case, every time the patient sees something trivial, she tries to interpret it as a curse, and it is believed that as a result of the accumulation of these events in an understandable form, a delusional system is created, ultimately leading to paranoia. Furthermore, the patient is also exhibiting slight signs of a personality disorder. Of course, it's at a very mild level, and it's not causing any hindrance whatsoever to the patient's daily life. It's common for even healthy individuals to have primary delusions in their daily lives, but they usually ignore it automatically without recognition, since those delusions are nonsensical. However, there are cases where these delusions accumulate despite being incomprehensible. It largely depends on the particular characteristics of the individual, and it's believed that the patient shows relatively strong characteristics in this area. I believe you are very much aware that primary delusions are categorized into 3 different kinds. The delusional mood is the feeling of impending crisis without basis. The delusional intuition is the feeling of a sense of duty or goal without basis. Delusional imperception is the feeling of a baseless cause against a baseless target. In the patient's case, it's believed that these incomprehensible delusions are accumulated, acted out simultaneously with the culture-bound symptom, which triggered a delusional misidentification syndrome. And they ultimately cause the incomprehensible delusions to become understandable by interpreting them as curse. The comprehensible delusional system induces understandable secondary delusions, further straightening the patient's delusional system with the passage of time. The delusional pharisatosis mentioned earlier can be considered a secondary delusion. Okay, well, here's the thing. Every time the patient sees something trivial, she tries to interpret it as a curse, ultimately leading to paranoia. Easily trigger delusional misidentification syndrome. It is what I said before about how Keiichi, in like the first chapter, maybe has interpreted some things as wrong. For example, maybe there was no needle. Maybe like his mind has created the illusion of something dangerous in the food, and thus creating more paranoia. Or maybe there was no syringe. But I still believe that there was a syringe. But nonetheless, like, Keiichi's mind has created these weird scenarios in his mind, even though they were technically not true. It's just that it's kind of hard to identify that. A common factor of all cases of paranoia is that even after an outbreak, they still appear perfectly normal with no change in their personalities. The patients are unaware of their own ailments, and due to their personal interpretations of their delusional system, there are many cases where patients arm themselves logically, making it extremely difficult for a third party to point out that they are having a delusion. Furthermore, although it may depend on the tendency of the delusions, there are also cases where a persecutory delusion turns into a pursuit delusion or a conspiracy delusion, resulting in the patients creating an imaginary enemy and taking up antisocial behavior. Oh boy. For example, there are cases where believers of a religious cult were deeply influenced by the cult founder's paranoid visions, which shifted the group into a conspiracy delusion, and that made them conduct antisocial behavior in the name of self-defense. Although no such cases have been reported in Japan yet, it could very well happen in the near future. Fortunately, the patient hasn't reached their serious condition as of now. Well, definitely will. With proper treatment, she should be able to make a full recovery. Please make sure that her father also understands that this is not an unusual case, but something caused by the accumulation of a number of innocent factors that anyone could have. The patient can be treated only by deepening her bond with her father. As long as she has that bond, she can certainly be treated. For the reasons above, if the patient is to return to her home village, I strongly recommend that the patient continue to receive guidance from specialized medical institutions. Please excuse me for writing such a long letter. Thank you for reading this until the very end. Man, like, looking back, Rena's medical history is just, it's quite sad. She went through all this. Jesus. They were mowing the grass near the fence, which is probably a cover to monitor their surroundings. Just in case, I tried to escape from the school. But they must have been thinking that would happen only after the school was over. They seem to have no idea that I already noticed their plan and was trying to run away right at the very moment. I couldn't use the front gate, since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the curry garden, went through it, and dashed into the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the forest for a while, I came to a small road. I know many back roads in this village because of our club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So, what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed on my message to Chie-sensei. Those men must be going crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. Alright.
竜宮さんの総体を他に聞いている人はいませんか?
Everybody in the class looked at each other and shook their heads. Back to Keiichi. Chie-sensei looked a bit upset that Rena left school early without telling her in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたものね。
Yeah, the thing is, she left her bag, behind.
みー。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし、どうしちゃったんだろう。
なんだか嫌な予感がするぜ。
え?
I think I know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken that little ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. I hurried home. My father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got there. Now that they are on the move, I'm no longer safe in my house. They are very dangerous people. They are trying to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction, and they actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Locked doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in a box, which they could just open up to get at me. I could no longer stay at my home. It's very sad, and very frustrating. I killed Rina and Teppei, and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me? I remember what Keiichi-kun told me before. It expressed my feelings better than anything.
高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を。
Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secret of the unthinkable conspiracy? Question of the century, Rena. Question of the century. She got me into this. I didn't do anything. It's all Mio-san's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio-san about them? I did. I depended on Mio-san, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories I've been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten involved in that unthinkable conspiracy, and I could have just played around with my friends today. Yeah. What goes through the mind of that woman, I swear? I know that she's a part of something. So, her giving these notes to people, that is definitely intentional. It's not some, oh, let's be occult fanatics together. We can be friends and talk about the occult stuff. No, definitely not. Especially with children of all people. I mean, come on. I will be the one member of the mob running in panic, not knowing what's going on the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival. I would have been just swallowed up in their conspiracy anyway. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? Would I be happier if I struggled, knowing about it, but ending up swallowed by it? If I'm going to end up the same way no matter what I choose to do, I'll fight. I'll choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Reina invaded my home, seducing my father, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that was the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad at all. I have only 2 enemies, Rina Mamiya and Teppei Hojo. I knew my enemies, and I knew how many they were. I learned them out one by one and I attacked them in the dark. It was a very easy problem to solve. But what about this one? I don't know who my enemies are, and I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I cannot possibly be sure. It's totally different from the previous problem. This might be the end of the world. This time, it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But is that really the case? With Rina, I felt like it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that bad. So this might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So I shouldn't think that this is the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can still struggle. I eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. Heck yeah. I'm going to bet on a 1% chance that even though it's unbelievably small. Heck yeah. If Mio-san didn't leave me the scrapbooks, I wouldn't even have been able to sit at the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. If I don't fight, they'll spread a terrible parasite, and this village will face a great disaster. That is something that I believe too. According to the legend, when the demons first came out of the swamp, people became demons right after being infected. And it happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when infected people leave the village, but that only applies to the latter, weak parasite. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-sama, even when the infected are in the village. The legend of Oyashiro-sama will be reborn. Humans and demons will start killing each other, and Oyashiro-sama will come down to pacify the disaster. And that's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle, and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-sama will be saved. I see. I know their true intention now. They're going to reenact the legend of Oyashiro-sama. After all, the villagers always say that Rika-chan is his reincarnation. Oh, there you go. Now we're delving into this. The stage is all set. They're going to use the parasite as the curse. So, how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine. A specific cure for the parasite. When they recreated a stronger form of the parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're going to use this cure to save only those people who believe in Oyashiro-sama. And as a result, this village will only have those fervent believers. They're going to make themselves the absolute rulers of Hinamizawa. Wait, I still might be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only inside Hinamizawa? History proves that when their goal is to control others, people desire to spread their religion across a wide area. I'm sure that they can conduct their research not only to bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but also to overcome its weakness, namely, that they only thrives in Hinamizawa. According to Mio-san's research, the parasite doesn't like its host to be far from the region. Its weakness is distance. If they could extend the distance, if they could extend the area where it can live, I wonder how far along their research is. By now, the parasite might be able to live not only in Hinamizawa, but in Gokinomiya as well. Or maybe even the city? Maybe the whole prefecture? Might be able to cover nearby prefectures as well. This is too serious to just call it a conspiracy. It's horrifying enough, and its scale large enough to call it a revolution. That's why I'm saying you should go to the clinic and find the cure and the source of all those parasites. Come on! Chop chop. The day of revival is probably not far off. I can tell by how they killed Mio-san and by the extent of their pressure they're putting on me. They're trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means, because that day is coming ever closer. Oh god, fish bones. Boy, did I have like the bad luck eating fish recently by getting like small bones stuck inside my mouth, like in the gums. It took me forever to take them out, bleeding. Ugh. I really hate eating fish sometimes. I'm the only one who could stand up against the revolution. I can't trust anybody. I think I can trust Keiichi-kun, but no one else. Mi-chan is out of question. I can't trust Rika-chan either. Satoko-chan and Rika-chan stick together like super glue, so I can't trust Satoko-chan either. Man, I can't trust any adults. I can't trust anybody. Man, you know, look at how far like the mistrust has gone, like completely out of whack. And it started from somewhere, that's for sure. It started from when Satoshi disappeared and nobody was able to help him, including the girls. And now because of that, the mistrust is going rampant here again. Despite that moment they had at the trash place, no one is on my side. I have to stand up against them alone. The clock is ticking towards that day, and the ticking noise made me frustrated. How should I fight against them? What should I do? I needed time to think. I needed a place, a safe area, where I could concentrate on thinking. Fortunately, I had such an area already. My hideout at the garbage dump. Nobody ever goes there, so it's safe. Even if they found out about that place, I'm familiar with its surroundings. I know escape routes and places where I can hide. But it has a big shortcoming as a hiding place. It's not hard to imagine what that is. I don't have any stock of food there. That's why I came home. Alright, grabbing our food here, I opened one of my father's drawers and took out his cash box. The contents haven't changed since the last time I looked inside. There were many new 10,000 yen bills in the cash box. I took them all. Oh god, we're taking everything. Not only like food for a couple of days, but money. Just so that we can buy more food. Rena is gonna end up trying to live in the trash dump like permanently for a little while. Temporarily, I guess. I took them all. I couldn't tell how many bills there actually were. It's not permanent if it's gonna be only a few days or something like that, until Rena fixes this, but it looked to be about 80 of them. This should be plenty. If I evaded them long enough to use all this money, that would mean that I did pretty well. Plus, I might use it to buy someone off. You can never have too much money, especially in a situation like this. I didn't take the bank book. If they were waiting in ambush at the bank, I'd be done for. It's too risky to withdraw money at a bank. I grabbed my backpack. I took the key from my bicycle. I put everything I think would be convenient to have into the backpack. I didn't care if it got heavy. I chose what was necessary to carry around later at my hideout. If there ended up being something I didn't need, I could leave it there. I looked at the clock. It had been 30 minutes since I came home. I stayed here too long. I rushed out of the house. Oh boy. I went to a small convenience store and bought as much sweet bread and canned food as I could fit in my backpack. An old lady was at the register, probably suffering from She showed no interest in the extraordinary amount of food I was buying. But as soon as the manager of the store checked the sales that night, he'd find out. The idea didn't bother me, because I can no longer walk around the village in the daylight anyway. My backpack was full, and the cans hurt my back as I walked. But they didn't bother me either. I got to my hideout, still carrying the heavy backpack. Alright, I organized the stuff I brought. It was very heavy to carry, but now I had sufficient food. The abandoned construction office still has running water, so I could get some from there. Yeah, let's not forget that water and electricity is still running around here. I wanted to get some vegetables, but in a situation like this, I could hardly complain. After I organized things, I took out the scrapbooks I hid here, and put my brain into top gear, flipping through the pages. So, now what? How am I going to stand up against this gigantic conspiracy? The clinic, Rena! The clinic! It has to be the source! Come on! Come on, do this for me! I need to calm down, stay cool, but also to think fast. Like, I'm not liking the situation that Rena is in right now. I mean, the way she handles it, even though we are on the track of doing something, it's just the way that things are progressing is not something that I like. But if we're doing this, at least we gotta do it right. In the sense that we gotta gather information from the right sources. And I think the clinic should be it. I need to calm down, stay cool, but also to think fast. There might not be a lot of time, so I'd have to hurry, but I don't know what to do. It's easy to run to school in the morning when I oversleep. It's easy because I know where I should go, but now I don't know where I should go to or what I should do. Now that I've come to this point, I should tell Ooishi-san everything. It's highly likely he's an enemy, but that doesn't matter anymore. If it was true, I'd just declare war. War! But if he was on my side, he'd be my only remaining hope. I'm far too weak to stand alone against the terrifying scale of this conspiracy poised to instill fear throughout Japan. I have to use a public phone to make the phone call. There's only one public phone in this village that stands at a place where it's hard for people to spot you. That phone booth. Okay, so we are gonna get the Ooishi's help in this. Also, yeah, I did notice like a while ago that the text is red. It's quite a red right now. It stands in the middle of nowhere where nobody really comes around. Many bugs gather around the light when it's dark, and it's not a pleasant place to go to. But I can't think of any other public phones I can use to contact Ooishi-san without being seen. Even though it stands in the middle of nowhere, it's still dangerous to use in the daylight. I should wait until nightfall and take advantage of the darkness. I heard that Ooishi-san has been holed up in a station since Mio-san's murder case, so I should be able to reach him anytime. I have the number for the direct line to his office too. The sky was still bright. Even though I had no time, I still had to wait for it to get dark. Frustrated, I glared at the sunset. I should find something to do. I couldn't waste any time that I had, so there must be something to do. After I thought about what I could do, I found there was something I wanted to confirm, something I'd been worried about. I couldn't do anything else before it got dark anyway. Staying here doing nothing would just make me more frustrated. I made my decision. I left the hideout. Okay, where to? Oh, back to Keiichi. Rena's father paced up and down restlessly in front of his house. A bicycle appeared, its rider ringing the bell.
Shuzai-san! ここです! ここです!
Or maybe it's not. Cage's perspective. Maybe it's like a third person kind of thing here. A police officer from the Hinamizawa police station had showed up. Having rushed to get there, he was breathing hard.
お待たせしました。状況をお伺いします。確かに施錠して出て行ったんです。そうしたら、まず家の扉が開きっぱなしになってまして。
He led the police officer into the house.
それで、私の部屋の手提げ金庫がまんまとやられまして。
Oh God.
ご主人、これはその時のまま？触ってない？ええ。犯人の指紋とかあるだろうと思いまして、金庫には触れてません。ただ中身を確認したので、中のものには少し触れています。それで、取られたものは？貯金通帳と印鑑は大丈夫だったんですが、中に入ってた現金を全部。通帳と印鑑、大丈夫だったんですか？そりゃあ不幸中の幸いでしたね。最近は通帳から足がつくと思って、プロは現金しか持ってかないんですよね。こりゃあだいぶ手慣れた空き巣かな。金庫ごと持ってかないで、この場で開けちゃうってんだから、相当のプロだね。で、お金はどのくらいやられちゃって？ちょっと数えてなかったんですが、多分1万円札で100枚近くはあったと思います。ああ、そう。それだけの現金が入ってることを誰かに知らせた？
You know, I'm starting to think of something right over here. Like, of course, now they are thinking that some thief came into the house and stole the money. That much is guaranteed for what they're gonna think here. But what if they're gonna think that Rena also got kidnapped in the process? Since the father is more than likely gonna notice that Rena is not gonna be home like anytime soon, since Rena is gonna be at the trash dump from now on, hiding. So the father is more than likely gonna think that she got kidnapped too in the process, which would be kind of bad. It's not something that Rena would want.
いえ、誰にも知らせてはいませんが、あの女たちならこの家に金があることを知っていたかも。あの女？ちょっとお話を聞かせていただけますか？実はあまりみっともいい話じゃないんでお恥ずかしいんですが。
Oh God. Okay. Scratch that. It may be possible still, but now we're adding another complication right over here, another obstacle. The father is gonna tell them about Teppei and Rina, and so the police are gonna try and find them. And that's not gonna be good.
マミやリナという女とですね。
Just then, the phone rang.
すみません、ちょっと出てきますね。すぐ戻ります。
He grabbed the phone.
はい、竜宮です。
すみません。前原と申しますが、レナさんはいらっしゃいますか？
レーナはまだ帰ってきてません。
まだ帰ってない？
いや、申し訳ないんですが、ちょっと今立て込んでます。遊びの電話でしたら、またかけ直していただけますかね。申し訳ないですね。失礼いたします。
He hung up after that. I was stunned. It didn't look like anything had changed on the surface. It was hard to find this place at all, because it perfectly blends in with the surroundings. I only found this place again because I remembered there was a tree with a big lump of wood on it nearby. The spot where I buried the corpses was perfectly camouflaged, as if nothing had happened. That's why, at first, I thought I came to the wrong place. But I could make certain once I stick a shovel in the ground. I should be able to tell right away whether this place was dug up before or not. After several false starts, I found the exact spot where I buried the corpses. But the biggest problem of all is that there are no bags in there at all. What? Why? How come? Did I bury them deeper than this? No, I didn't. I remember exactly how I how deep I buried them. I know I didn't bury them deeper than this. I wasn't expecting this. I came here to check the corpses. I just wanted to do that to kill some time. I didn't want to stay in my hideout doing nothing. So I came here to check if the corpses I buried were still there. I make sure that they were still there, and I feel relieved. It was supposed to go like that. This was such an unexpected turn of events that I broke out into a cold sweat. Okay, this is an unexpected twist. And yet, at the same time, not really, but at the same time it is, because this is something that happened in Chapter 3, that's for sure. Except, in that case, I thought it was the children who had hid the corpses better at the trash dump. So, that would be an explanation. You know, Keiichi's friends hiding the murder to help him. But this? It couldn't be that it's the opposite way around. That Keiichi and Rena's friends ended up burying the corpse like somewhere else, while Rena didn't know? That makes no sense. Like they wouldn't be throwing like the bodies back to the trash place without Rena knowing, right? Like either Rena must have mistaken the place where the body is buried and she picked the wrong spot and all that, or somebody else, a secret entity who was the one responsible for digging up the corpses again, like taking them out. Which is so weird. What? What's going on? What's going on? I don't need to calm down to think about what happened. Corpses can't come back to life and crawl out of the ground. Someone must have dug them out. Who did it? And for what purpose? Did anyone happen to see us burying the corpses here? And did they dig them out after we left? What if they handed them over to the police? No, it can't be. It's been quite a while since that day we buried them here. It was before the Watanagashi festival. So if the police did find the corpses, when Ooishi contacted me, he had to know about Rina and Teppei. But he didn't tell me anything about them. I don't think he was hiding anything on purpose either. So, I mean, since this is such a weird situation, it kind of begs the question if my theory about the kids hiding like the body somewhere else in Chapter 3 is also correct. Like, either we're dealing with two completely separate situations of two separate groups hiding the corpse somewhere else where the protagonist was not aware of, or there is a common person that keeps digging these bodies up in Chapter 3 and Chapter 6. It's just that we don't know. Then why are the corpses gone? That will leave only one answer. Who knows about this place? One of us came back here, dug out the bags, and took them away. The first person who comes to mind is Mion. I mean, the Sonzaki family. But I can't think of a reason why they would do that. The murder of Rina and Teppei has nothing to do with them. I'm sure they don't want to get involved either, let alone be falsely accused. They must want to stay as far away from this case as possible. Why would they want to keep the corpses? It's like keeping a joker even though you lose if you have the joker by the end of the game. If I was Michan, what would I do? What would I do if I was club president? The joker is a card that you want to get rid of, at least in the game I mentioned earlier. But it becomes a powerful card in other games. What kind of game would that be? An electric shock ran through my spine. At the same time, I realized that they are one step ahead of me. The Sonzaki family got the corpses to use them as a joker, as a wild card. They're trying to use them to sell me out to the police. Nah, that can't be. It makes zero sense. The Sonozaki family is trying to kill me using their death squad, but they want to have insurance just in case they fail. The thing they're afraid of the most is that I might work together with the police. If they could prevent that from happening, I have no one to work with. If that happens, I can no longer run away from them. I'd still be a fish in their pond. They're going to use the corpses to sell me out to the police for the murder of Rina and Teppei. If the police started seeing me as a suspect, they'd never listen to my story. They could have been my last hope, but this would certainly turn them against me. But I'm sure the Sonozaki family doesn't want to use their choke unless absolutely necessary. After all, Mio Sonozaki helped bury the corpses. Plus, they don't want the police to hover around Hinamizawa when the day of revival is so close. That is true. In that sense, I'm going to call Ooishi tonight, and I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to tell him everything, including the things I haven't even told Keiichi-kun. I don't know if Ooishi will believe me. This is a gamble, and my chance of winning is very small. Plus, my worst enemy has the Joker, the bags with the corpses inside. I'm impressed with Mion. That's just what I expect from the leader of our club. This is a battle that I'm betting my life on. But to Mion, this is like a board game, taking place across Hinamizawa itself. I grinned, repeating to myself that it's just a game. I put my life on the line for every club activity we do, because I don't want to suffer the punishment. This time, that's become the literal truth. There could be only one reason why they're trying so hard to drive me into a corner. It's because they're afraid of me. I assumed I was just a little girl with no power, running about in confusion. But my enemy must not be thinking that way. If they didn't think I was a threat to them, they wouldn't take risks like this to drive me into a corner. Admittedly, that is true in that sense. Like, if we were to believe that, which I personally do not. I couldn't explain this. Maybe you just picked the wrong spot. Maybe it's your delusional mind that is fucking with your brain right now, but I guess if it is to give you a boost of power, then by all means, I'm just here for the ride. That means the scrapbooks Mio-san left me must be way more dangerous to them than I think they are. I see. They have a Joker. But so do I. The Joker I have is so deadly and so powerful that it can break their plot into pieces. That's why they're so eager to find me. A cornered mouse really can bite a cat. I felt my fear towards my enemy fade away all of a sudden. Just as I feared them, so do they fear me too. So, this is an evenly matched game. I don't have as bad a hand as I thought I did. I was right to come here. I found out about the card my enemy was holding. This is a big deal. I felt myself shiver with excitement. I grinned to encourage myself. I don't need to be here any longer. They know this place. They might come here to find me. It's not safe for me to stay here for... You know, it feels like such a stupid plan, because you would think that if they were to go for such a tactic, why not just have some people on the lookout right over here, and in case Rena came here, they would just capture her. Simple as that. And then they would force the scrapbook out of her. It makes no sense that they would go for this cat and mouse kind of thing. I decided to go back to my hideout. Unless, if we were to think of a prolonged plan of... These chapters, like, they progress in such a weird way. They feel all planned. To the point where, like, the secret entity is fucking with Keiichi or Shion or Rena. Whereas, in normal circumstances, they would do, like, the most obvious ways to, I don't know, capture them or kill them. But no, they're prolonging the paranoia like this. Almost as if it's on purpose. It is as I said. Like, I'm thinking that Mio Takano is alive. And in that case, if she truly gave Rena the scrapbooks on purpose, she may be trying to bring a lot of paranoia into Rena and see how things will go. And so things are prolonging in such a twisted, mastermindful way. The way we see it like right here, that it's... I could not predict like where this is gonna go. Like, what are Takano's and the secret entities like main goal here? I noticed something different right away. I hid behind a bush and looked at the front gate of my house. My father was talking to a police officer. Oh boy. And now Rena is gonna think that, oh, the police came here because they're trying to find Rena. Because of the corpses. But no, it's because the money was stolen. I strained to catch their conversation.
はい。いつもはそこに止めてあるはずなんです。
My father pointed to the place where I usually park my bicycle.
わかりました。もしお嬢さんが帰られましたらご連絡をください。こちらの方でも探してみます。
Mi-chan, you're good. Did you already play your choker? Mion always starts a battle by attacking without hesitation, and wins. It seems like the police are already after me. My chance of being able to explain the conspiracy to Ooishi was already small, but this makes it even smaller. No. That's why I'm going to talk to Ooishi. He sees the Sonozaki family as his enemy, and he's trying to expose everything about them before his retirement. That's why he'll be on my side. He's not going to fall for their trick. Of course, there's a very high possibility that everything was part of their trap from the very beginning. It's possible that he claimed the Sonozaki family was his enemy in order to make me believe that he's on my side. But their choker is actually giving me hope. If Ooishi is one of them, it would be too early to play their choker. Ooishi isn't one of them. That's why they got the choker, so they can play it before I go to the police. No, wait. That might be a trick to make me think that way in order to make me trust Ooishi. When Mion gives me two choices to choose from, it's usually better to choose the one I like without thinking too much. Mion, after all, likes to guess people's intentions in order to confuse them. So when you think about a choice too much, you're already in a trap. I'm going to do as I planned. I'm going to call Ooishi after it gets dark. If he's going to become my ally, we can talk about the future. And if he isn't, that, I realized, was what I had to think about before it got dark. Man, this is such a interesting chapter going so far, in the sense that it feels like a lot of misunderstandings are going on that makes Rena suspicious about a conspiracy. Even though I do believe there is a conspiracy, it's just that there are these misunderstandings that are making things worse, even though it would make you paranoid. Like, first the gardeners actually being gardeners, even though I do still believe that there are some people in white vans, like, looking after people like Rena and Keiichi, and now this, where like the police are just trying to find the thief and are thinking that Rena got kidnapped, even though Rena herself thinks that they found the corpses. It's like Rena is thinking that there is a conspiracy, which I do believe there is, but in such a wrong way. It's kind of comical. Jesus. Unless by the end of the story we're gonna find out that there is no such thing as a conspiracy, and that I myself have been fooled all this time. That there is no secret organization, there is no government like plan to destroy the village or anything like that. Mio Takano is actually a good person, and all this parasite stuff is just bullshit, and it's just a magical curse from the underworld or something like that. That actually there is some magic going on. I started the conversation with an ordinary greeting to try and gauge his reaction. There's a 50-50 chance that Ooishi is one of them. If he is their pawn, he'll either lure me out somewhere so he can arrest me, or he'll ask me where the scrapbooks are. But even if he didn't, that wouldn't prove anything. It's going to be difficult to determine if he's on my side or not, and I'd have to tell him about the scrapbooks no matter what. My heart's beating very fast. Even if I was sure that Ooishi isn't their pawn, I'd still have to make him believe such a crazy story. And I'd have to do that over the phone. Worrying wouldn't do anything for me. This is, I know, a gamble. I have but a small chance of winning. If I didn't put my chips on the table, the game wouldn't even start.
以前も少し話しましたが、やっぱり私、何者かに狙われてるみたいです。
それは本当ですか？
ええ。以前までは、ひょっとすると気のせいかもしれないと思う程度だったのですが、昨日あたりから間違いないと思うレベルになりました。
間違いないレベルと言いますと？
数台の車が私の身辺を伺っているようなんです。うちの1台は白いワゴン車で、造園屋に偽装した4人の特攻隊と思われる人間が乗っています。
特攻隊というと、園崎家の暗殺部隊の？
はい、おそらくそうに違いないと思います。今日、学校にまで詰めかけてきました。
Okay, you know, I'm not really sure. Okay, well, they definitely talked about it a little bit more. It's just that we didn't get to see the dialogue, because otherwise, I would say that this is the first time that a Sonozaki family death squad was mentioned, and it was by Ooishi. But no, it very well could be that Rena mentioned like this death squad before this. I told you a little about this before this line. They talked about this, so.
あわやのところで逃れましたが、危ないところでした。
しかし、なんだって急に。まさか竜宮さんが富武殺しについて嗅ぎ回っているとでも思い込んだんですかね。
But yeah, oh my god, Tomitake's murder. I completely forgot about Tomitake's murder. Sheesh. Man, Tomitake is such an invisible character at this point, in my eyes. I completely forget about him every single time. Well, she hasn't mentioned the scrapbooks yet. It sounded rather unnatural to beat around the bush like that by mentioning Tomitake's murder. But as I haven't told him about the scrapbooks, it could be a legitimate reaction.
実はですね、ついさっき嫌な話を耳にしました。もうちょっとちゃんと調べてからお耳に入れたかったのですが、お互い新情報を知ったら伝える約束です。ですので、とりあえずお話しておきます。実は、沖宮の園崎組で悪い動きがあるらしいんです。
園崎組で悪い動きですか？
ええ。ちょっとショックな話かもしれません。実は若い衆に人探しを命じているという話なんですがね。
人探し？
My heart stopped for a moment upon hearing that. Eh? Are they?
私もにわかには信じられません。探しているのはあなたらしいんですよ。竜宮レナを探させているそうなんです。まだ仕入れたばかりの情報なんで何が狙いかはつかめていませんが、あなたの名前が出ていることだけは間違いありません。
Is it because they are thinking that, again, that Arena got kidnapped when the money were stolen?
私が身に危険を感じ始めているという話、信じてもらえますか？
ねえ、互いの話がきれいに一致します。
Wait, so if I were to go with that angle, if that is true, if they were to think that way, wouldn't it mean that Ooishi also knows that Rena is in danger right here? That he would think that she got kidnapped, and so they're talking right over here? And I don't know.
リグさん、これはどういうことですか？お心当たりは？
What they're really looking for are the scrapbooks I have. They want to know where they are, and they believe that I'm hiding them. They must be thinking that they'll be able to hide the information in the scrapbooks forever if they succeed in shutting my mouth. But I couldn't tell Ooishi about that yet. I answered his question by asking him a question.
大石さんの方で何かわかりませんか？私には全然どうしてだか。
私だってわかりません。園崎組があなたという個人を狙って動くなんて考えられない。
To capture?
でも事実なんです。信頼できる筋から得た情報で紛れはありません。
園崎組が私に関心があるのではなく、園崎本家が私に関心があるというのはどうですか？
こういった動きはめったに見せるものではありません。例えば組の上納金の持ち逃げがあったとか、そういうトラブルがあった時にはこういう騒ぎもあったりします。でもそれは大抵組関係の業界の話で、仇である個人が対象となるなんて前例がありません。
私がその貴重な一例目であるのは嬉しいですが、前例がないで済まされちゃこっちはたまらないです。
まあ竜宮さん、落ち着いて落ち着いて。今度は竜宮さんが話す番じゃないんですか？
何をですか？
竜宮さん、園崎組がこういう動きを見せることはおいそれとあることじゃありません。何かの誤解にしたってなかなかあることじゃない。心当たりはありませんか？竜宮さんにとっては何気ない何かが彼らを誤解させている可能性もあります。私の読みでは連中、あなたが園崎本家周辺を嗅ぎ回っていて、何かとんでもない事実を掴んだ、もしくは掴んだと思い込んでるのどちらかじゃないかと思います。それは竜宮さんが日々の生活でしてしまうような些細なものじゃない。もっと目立つ何かです。本当に心当たりはありませんか？
Is he my ally or my enemy? I still can't figure it out. Oh my god. Not to mention that there's the whole, like, school situation where Rena left her back, which is very suspicious in itself. The kids are probably thinking that she got kidnapped from school. Like, it could very well be possible that because the kids may have also come to that conclusion that Rena got kidnapped and she's nowhere to be found, they put, like Mion, put her family to try and find her instead of the police. Because this could be a very complicated situation because Rena is, she, like, murdered Rina and Teppei. Like, this whole thing is happening shortly after their deaths. Like, things are a bit complicated, so Mion, instead of using the police, which could complicate things, would rather use her family. Maybe. This is it. Make your decision right now, Yugo.
多分、私がミオさんのスクラップ帳を預かっているからだと思います。
ミオさん、高野ミオのスクラップ帳ですか。そいつは一体。
If he was my enemy, he wouldn't be able to hide his excitement. But his voice remained steady, and it didn't sound unusual when he said the word scrapbooks.
はい。実は私、ミオさんが殺される数日前に彼女と図書館で出会って、その時に意気投合して彼女に研究をまとめたスクラップ帳を数冊預けられたんです。
研究をまとめた？
はい。ミオさんはHinamizawa村の歴史について深く研究していたんです。そしてそれらを数冊のスクラップ帳にまとめていました。奴らはミオさんを殺した時、スクラップ帳が何冊か足りないのに気づき、それを私に託していたことを気づいたのだと思います。
奴らの狙いはスクラップ帳？リグさん、それは一体何なんですか？
Hinamizawaがかつて鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれていた太古の昔についての研究をまとめたものです。お社様信仰の発祥について書かれています。
お社様信仰？人食い鬼の末裔が仙人になってっていう？
ええ。ミオさんはその研究の中でお社様信仰についての ある重大な秘密を暴いたんです。その研究結果は、お社様を神聖であると崇める人たちにとっては極めて冒涜的な内容でした。
なるほどなるほど。信仰の特に盲信的な連中にはその研究の存在が許せなかった。
Ooishi was taking notes. I could hear him writing something while he spoke.
彼らはミオさんを消し、そのミオさんが残したスクラップ帳も葬ろうとしているんです。最初のうちは私が持っているのかどうか分かりかねているようだったんですが、昨日を境に疑わしきは殺せという方針に変わったように感じています。
なるほど。そりゃ好ましい状況ではありませんね。あなたの身辺を警戒させましょう。あとそのスクラップ帳を拝見させてください。高野殺しの何かの手がかりになるかもしれない。
あ、いえ、警察の内部にも奴らの手先が混じっている可能性が高いです。ですから身辺の警戒は結構です。自分の身は自分で守ります。あとスクラップ帳も同じです。彼らはそれを抹消しようとするでしょう。たとえ警察の中であっても。
園崎組があなた一人をターゲットに動いている以上、もしこれが園崎本家の頂上からの指令なら、その可能性は確かにありますね。園崎本家が敵だった場合、悔しいですが私たちの中にも内通者がいないとは限りません。
そういうことです。ですから私のことは気にしないでください。それよりお願いがあります。とてもとても重要なお願いです。
言ってください。何ですか？
ミオさんの研究によるならば、今Hinamizawaの闇に恐ろしい陰謀があり、それが遠くないうちに実行されそうなんです。
陰謀？それは一体何です？
I got tense all of a sudden. If I tell him everything, it's going to sound like a big, big lie. I should leave out the bizarre sounding parts for now. It would actually make the story more credible.
奴らの正体はお社様信仰の狂信者たちです。奴らは明治以降すっかり下火になってしまったお社様信仰と意向を取り戻し、太古の鬼ヶ淵村の時代のような厳格な信仰を復活させようとしているんです。
続けてください。メモしてます。
ミオさんの研究によると、お社様伝説の根底には大昔のある風土病の存在があるんです。その風土病の猛威がお社様のたたりと恐れられ、それを治療できる医者的存在がお社様と崇められ、村を支配した。
そうだったんですか。なるほど。続けて。
その風土病は土着のある特殊な寄生虫によるものだったんです。ですが長い世代を繰り返すうちに徐々に無害になっていき、彼らにとって風土病が無害ではお社様のたたりがなく、たたりがなければ救いも必要ない。だからお社様の神聖性が保てないわけです。
それを復活させようとしたら、それはつまり風土病を蘇らせるということを意味するわけですかな？
そうです。奴らはお社様伝説をゼロからもう一度やり直し、お社様の降臨を再現しようとしているんです。そのため古代の強力な風土病を再発させる原始の寄生虫を研究していたと思われます。連続開始事件の正体はこの研究結果を試すものだったんです。そして富武さんに対して古文書に残る氏脇病を再現できた。奴らは5年かけて原始の力を持つ寄生虫を復活させたんです。
なんてこった。
奴らの最終的な目的はその寄生虫をばらまき、お社様に帰依する者のみを特効薬で救い、お社様信者のみの楽園を作ろうとしているんです。
それは間違いなく事実でしょうね。
このスクラップ帳にはその寄生虫がHinamizawaの人間のほぼ全員に寄生している事実が書かれています。 医学的根拠に基づいていて。
信じられない。くそ、お寮のババアめ、ほっときゃいつでもお迎えが来るだろうに。自分一人じゃ三途の川一つ渡らないのか。こいつは無差別テロだぞ。なんてこった。
本来の寄生虫はHinamizawa一帯にしか適用できませんでしたが、彼らはその競技の傾向からより広域にわたって寄生虫が環境適応できるよう改良を加えている可能性が高いです。Hinamizawaだけにとどまらない。沖宮を飲み込むか、市内全域に及ぶか、県全体にまで及ぶか。
くそったり。どうすりゃいいんだ、くそ。首謀者は誰です？
Hinamizawa御三家。おそらくは園崎家の当主でしょう。ただしお寮が主会なのか、お寮すらも駒なのかは分かりません。私には奴らを奴らと呼ぶことしかできない。その規模も全く分からないんです。
その研究がどこで行われているか分かりますか？そこを押さえます。
それはこのスクラップ帳にも書かれていません。大石さんの方で見当はつきませんか？
そんな寄生虫だのなんだのの研究をしてるってことは、かなり改造拳銃ぐらいならガレージを改造して秘密工場にもできるだろうが、寄生虫じゃそうはいかないでしょう。
ミオさんは入江診療所に勤めている看護師でした。入江診療所が怪しいということはありませんか？
There you have it.
Hinamizawaの規模から見て立派すぎるのが前から不審だと思っていました。
Alright, well let's check that.
はあ、入江診療所か。
They need a specially designed facility with advanced airtight containment, among other considerations, to be able to do research on dangerous parasites like this one. It's easy to equate suspicious research with a clinic facility, but it also sounds too easy and a little cliché. At first, I thought they converted part of the clinic into a secret research center, but it actually sounds a little too unrealistic.
とにかくそれがどこかは分かりません。それはどうか大石さんの方で調べてください。怪しげなところを片っ端から調べられないんですか？
ご存知の通り、警察は強制捜査には令状ってもんが必要です。そりゃ後付けで取ることもできますがね。間違いなくそこだという決定的な証拠があった時の話です。
Damn it! Ooishi is a police officer. If he's going to work as a police officer, he has to follow their rules.
でも大掛かりな細菌テロが計画されているのだけは事実なんです。しかもミオさんの殺し方の請求さから見て、私は彼らが実行に移す X デーが近いような気がしてなりません。
わかりました、わかりました。こちらの方でも何とかしています。そんなとんでもない計画なら園崎本家も一枚岩ってわけにはいかないでしょう。必ずどこかに胸中で反対している人間がいるはずです。そういう人物と接触できないか、こちらでも探してみます。任せてください。こういうのは私の得意とするところですよ。
Ooishi laughed to try to cheer me up. I was upset with the work of the police before, but Oishi's positive reaction is very reliable. He is what you might call an outlaw. Oishi's greatest advantage to me is that he doesn't exactly play by the rules. It's very encouraging that he has that kind of skill, especially since we have to act both very quickly and without conclusive evidence. The police normally investigate incidents after they've happened, but that doesn't work in this case. If this incident actually does occur, it's going to be a big disaster.
ミオさんはなんて恐ろしい陰謀を暴いたんだろうと恐ろしくなります。
気の毒な最後でした。岐阜の山中でドラム缶の中でこんがりでしてね、気の毒なことです。そうそう、そういえば。
What is it?
ちょいと彼女のことで変わった話がありましてね。
Okay, something odd.
変わった話ですか？
ええ。最初何か事件に関係があるのかなって思ってたんですがね。今のとてつもない陰謀の話に比べたらさまつな話です。多分鑑識のちょっとしたミスでしょう。
Okay, well, tell us.
いえ、聞かせてください。そういう約束じゃなかったですか？
いえ、隠すつもりなんかありません。ただちょいと夏向きな話だったもんで。リュウさん、綿流しの晩覚えてますか？あの晩の祭りの終わった後です。あなたの仲良し5人組と富武、高野の7人で談笑してますよね。
Yeah, how could I not remember that?
談笑というほどではありませんでしたが。ええ、少し話をしたような気がします。
いえ、実はですね、高野の遺体が見つかったのはその晩なわけですが、岐阜県警さんの鑑識では死後24時間以上って出ちゃったらしいって噂があるんです。でもそれだと話がおかしい。
Unless it's a fake body.
あの祭りの前の晩には殺されていることになる。
殺されてることになる。
That Takano used like a fake dead body to trick them into thinking it was Takano who died. I'm confused. If she was found dead on the night of Watanagashi, and she had been dead for 24 hours, that means...
つまり早い話が、綿流しの日には高野はもう死んでることになるんですよ。
Or, I don't know if I actually offered this kind of possibility, but it could be the opposite way around. The true Takano died like a while ago, while the Takano that we talked, like at the Watanagashi, their real name is not Takano, but somebody else. But it's a mix and match if we were to go that route.
だからあの祭りの晩に会った彼女は実はゾンビだったのかななんてね。
Zombie. They're spooky, man.
まあ、あちらの鑑識のちょいとしたポカでしょう。
I felt my brain freezing over. Ooishi laughed, saying that it sounded like a horror story from summer camp. But actually, the fact that Mio-san's time of death was off backed up her incredulous theories. I haven't mentioned this one to Ooishi or Keiichi-kun. If I did, they start to doubt everything else I've said. That's how absolutely unbelievable this theory is. At any rate, the mismatch with the time of Mio-san's death means a lot. What irony. Mio-san came up with a theory, and she proved it correct with her own life. The fuck are you trying to say here? Are we going for that kind of thing where if a person dies with a parasite, they revive themselves? All this time, what Takano wanted to prove was that she could resurrect herself if she had a parasite? That's where this whole thing leads to? No, not yet. This doesn't prove anything yet. If her theory is true, it might happen again. There's no way. It can't be true. Still can't believe it. Cause that's a new one. Like, resurrection? But Ooishi just said it. He said Mio-san was already dead on the night of the festival. It means that the Mio-san who was walking arm in arm with Tomitake-san on that night wasn't Mio-san. Mio-san was already dead, so that wasn't her. That means she was... Felt a new sensation, one I never felt in my life before. She was what? She was what? It wasn't an ordinary kind of dread. It was fear of the truth. No fear is worse than the fear of accepting a truth you don't want to believe. Compared to this fear, the fear of being stalked by the Sonozaki family or being burned alive in an old drum looked silly. That's how deep of a fear I felt. Can you tell me, like, me alone? Like, to us, the readers? Can you explain yourself? What the fuck did you read in like the scrapbooks that I don't even, that I'm not even, that I may not have even thought of? And I felt like crawling all over my body.
リュグさん、悪いことは言いません。警察が信用できないお気持ちもわかります。園崎本家は市内全域を牛耳っていますからね。署にも園崎家の御用聞きみたいな連中がいますし、それでも今のあなたは危険だ。せめて私個人を信用してはくれませんか。私以外の誰も知らないところにあなたをかくまいます。私をどうか信用してください。
I don't doubt Ooishi at this point. I actually think he's very reliable. I would have said yes without a second thought. But the situation has drastically changed. If Mio-san's death backs up this unbelievable truth, I trust Ooishi. I believe he'll find the enemy and take them down. But I'd rather protect myself on my own than let someone else do it. If the unbelievable truth is real, then I couldn't trust anybody except myself. No, even myself might appear before me too. Yourself? Like, are we talking about cloning? Clones? Like, what?
大石さん、本当にありがとうございます。
What do you mean, not even yourself? Even yourself might appear before you. Wait, what?
とにかく、奴らの研究所を突き止めて、なんとか陰謀を食い止めてください。
Time travel? Are people time traveling around here?
私はしばらく身を潜めます。また連絡しますね。
I noticed I've been on the phone too long. I've been using this phone booth with a light on in the middle of the darkness. In other words, I'd be telling everybody I'm here.
もしもし、もしもし。
She hung up. Ooishi wanted to talk more. He clicked his tongue and put the phone down. His junior, Kumagai, rushed into the room.
おいさん、やっぱりヤバそうな山っす。竜宮レナを探させているのは園崎組葛西達義。
Tatsuyoshi Kasai? Kasai?
葛西？
What?
園崎茜の懐刀じゃないですか。
Tatsuyoshi Kasai was a pretty high-ranking big shot, even amongst the boss's younger brothers. Mion and the rest would be looking after Rena, and so they call for Shion's help, and thus Shion will call for Kasai's help to find Rena. Is that it? Is that a connection? He used to be the boss of a subordinate branch, but after suffering a bad injury during the gang war, he stepped down, and now he served as the boss's aide. Akane Sonozaki relies especially on him, and as a right-hand man, he is still feared even now. When Kasai moves, other gangs consider it as a declaration of war. They fear him very much. He's a warrior among warriors. God damn! He's been lying low these days, but he has led countless numbers of gang wars. He was also the leader of the professional attack squadron that went to the US to receive military training during the Dan conflict. You are crazy enough to think of attacking the Ministry of Construction for real.
情報や界隈でも相当な騒ぎになってるようです。竜宮レナが園崎組にとって相当都合の悪いものを握ってるんじゃないかともっぱらの噂です。
情報屋の皆さんもさすがに勘がいいですね。
What?
こりゃとんでもない山になってきたぞ。
Is it true?
佐藤さんは例の建設省とお寮の秘密交渉テープじゃないかって見てるみたいっす。だとすれば人が死ぬ騒ぎになるっすよ。
The tape audio and the Ministry of Construction recorded during their secret negotiation. What does that have anything to do with Rena? No, she didn't get a hold of that. How the fuck did they even reach that kind of conclusion? This is more serious than that, Ooishi thought. If your story is true, this is a massive conspiracy. It's going to cause more than quite a few deaths. It might destroy the entire village, or even the entire prefecture. This is going to be the biggest terrorist strike in history. Oh my god.
レナ、やばいですよ。
Jesus Christ, like, whoa, where is this going? I feel like Rena is gonna end up destroying the world without even realizing it.
クマちゃん、
And it has nothing to do with the conspiracy at this point. The conspiracy that I'm thinking of.
覆面パトを竜宮家に貼り付かせてください。本日付で竜宮レナから暴力団組織に脅迫を受けている訴えがあったため、身辺警護ってことにします。ガジオには後で私から話します。
いえ、実は竜宮レナは自宅を出ているらしいです。駐在所からの連絡では、どうも家の金を何十万か盗んで雲隠れしているらしいんです。
Okay, well, at least they are thinking that. They're not thinking that she got kidnapped, at least for right now.
それから竜宮家の前には園崎組の車が1台張り付いているという連絡が。
バッカ野郎！なんでそいつは早く言わないんだ！竜宮レナは相当高度に狙われてるぞ。さっきの電話は家じゃなかったんだ。竜宮レナを至急保護します。車回せ！家の前に張り付いてる野郎を締め上げろ！おい！わけの何か来い！
おっす！おい！
レナさんが家にいない？この時間に？
はい。しばらく家の前で待たせていただきましたが、戻られる気配がなかったもので、一度引き上げました。
誰かの家に遊びに行ってるとかじゃない？案外、本家でお姉たちと一緒に部活大会だったりしてね。
Shion was lying down on the sofa, picturing her sister and her friends fooling around and playing games like they always did.
一応それを疑って本家にも寄らせていただきましたが、いらっしゃられないようでした。ミオンさんもレナさんがお帰りになられないのを心配しておられました。
そうなの？どうしたんだろうね。
Wait, so Kasai was not even looking for Rena at the request of Shion because of Mion and the gang. It's the opposite way around. Like, they are trying to contact Rena for some reason that I don't even know of, and realize that she's not at home, and even asked Mion, and they realize that, hey, not even Mion and the others know where she is. Kasai, why are you interested in Rena?
はて。
Oh, right, it's because Rena and Kasai talked at some point about that thing from before. They talked to each other at some point. It's just that... Wait, what was it about? I think it was about Teppei and Rina. Yeah, now I remember. It's just that Rena eventually gave up on Kasai's help because she thought it would be, like, it wouldn't be enough, I think. Maybe Kasai is trying to talk to Rena about that. Jesus.
めったにないことだろうとは思いますが、たちの悪いのに絡まれたのかもしれません。念のため、レナさんを見かけていないかどうか聞き込ませています。
あの子に限っては大丈夫だと思うけどな。何気に強いしね。
それはそうと、私に何の用だったんです？
Kasai took off his jacket. Shion only told him to go see Rena because she heard that Rena had requested to see him in person.
あれ？言わなかったっけ？なんかね、葛西の落とし物を拾ってるらしいよ。お姉が言うには、レナさんそれを直接返したいんだってさ。おうおう、いいね。若い子にモテることで。
Ah, yeah, okay, now I remember the details. I don't think they even talked to that much to begin with. I'm forgetting. My apologies right over here. Like, that's the thing. Like, Rena was waiting for so long. to contact Kasai like soon enough and say, "Oh, I found something that you lost. By the way, let's talk about this." They didn't even reach that point. Rena was like, "Nah, I cannot rely on this. I have to do something now." So she moved on to something else. Jesus.
堪忍してください。しかし、ご無事だといいのですが。
Right then, the phone rang. Kasai answered it while listening this time.
はい。はい。わかりました。直ちに。
Kasai sounded very serious, and Shion immediately figured out who he was talking to.
誰？お父さん？
はい。レナさんを大至急保護して、本家へ護送せよとの園崎本家からの命令です。
鬼ババの直令？レナさん、何をやらかしたんだか。ああ、爪かな。かわいそうに。くわばらくわばら。
Okay, now I'm confused.
レナがまだ帰ってないって？
So the Sonozakis do have some business with Rena, which I don't think it's because of any conspiracy or anything like that, but did Rena do something to? So it's not just Kasai who has instigated this whole Sonozaki looking after Rena. Oreo did put like an order.
実は聞いた話だと、レナ自宅を出てどこかに雲隠れしてるらしい。
雲隠れ？どういうことだ？
あと、これはさっき入ってきた情報なんだけど、警察がリュウグウレナの行方を探してるって。
なんだって？
なんでも、レナの家の前にはすでに覆面パトカーが1台張り付いてるらしい。村の中にもすでにサイレンなしのパトカーが数台入り込んでるみたい。あと、君吉本家にも警察から電話があって、リュウグウレナの所在を至急確認したいので、懲戒連絡網で確認をしてほしいと連絡があったって。
ってことは、まさか俺たちの隠した死体が見つかったってことが。
We hid them deep in the mountains. They couldn't have found them that easily.
それは 100% ありえない。私が保証するよ。
おう、よく 100% なんて言い切れるな。
実はね、あの死体、園崎家の方で秘密の場所に処分させてもらったの。
Oh my god. Okay, well, I guess kind of tracks with chapter 3. So it was the kids too. It's just that in this case, Keiichi and the rest were not aware of. It's Mion herself who decided, maybe this place isn't the best. I think I'm gonna use my family to move, like the body somewhere else. And not even Rena knows. Jesus Christ.
秘密の場所？
まあ、そこは深く考えない。あのね、私たちが埋めたあの山林、後でよくよく聞いてみたら、今年の夏に大規模な伐採計画があるって分かったの。だから、ちょっと私の方で手を回させてもらったってわけ。
そっか、お前、味方なら頼りになるけど、敵だったら怖いやつだな。
If only you have told Rena about this earlier.
おじさんを誰だと思ってるんだか。
じゃあ、死体じゃないよな。一体どうして警察がレナを？
わからない。北条哲平と間宮里奈が竜宮家を食い物にしようとしてたって話は裏の界隈ではちょっと知られてたらしいんだよ。そっちの角度からレナが浮上したのかもしれない。とにかく容疑者ってわけじゃないみたい。でも重要参考人とかって扱いではあるだろうね。
どっちだって同じだぜ。くそ。
So it could very well be possible that Teppei and Urina may have delved, well, because we remember the detail that they had something to do with the Sonozakis before. They may have been a nuisance to the Sonozaki, so their deaths may have been to their advantage. And so they're trying to protect Urena, who may know that she killed Teppei and Urina. So that's why they are looking after her.
せっかくレナは平穏な生活を取り戻したんだぞ。ここで台無しになんかしてたまるか。
I'm confused. This is getting out of hand here.
ミオ、俺たちでなんとかレナをかばおう。
当然だよ。とにかく警察よりも先にレナの身柄を確保するようさっき沖宮の家に伝えた。本家でならレナを 120% 警察から守れる。
レナをかくまうだけじゃ解決にはならないんじゃないのか。レナの嫌疑を何とかしないと。
そこは保護してから考えるよ。アリバイを証明する証人なんかいくらでも作れるし、本家に出入りしてる最高の弁護士もいる。私たちは仲間を絶対に見捨てない。
ああ、そうさ。絶対にレナを守ってやろうな。くそ、俺ができるのはミオンに頼るだけかよ。情けないぜ。
まあまあ、蛇の道は蛇ってことだよ。おじさんの方で手を尽くすからここは任せな。あと村全体で警察の目をごまかすためアリバイを作る。レナがゴグラのあたりで目撃されたことにしよう。警察の目が広域に散ればそれだけ薄くなるはずだよ。
なるほどな。そいつはうまいぜ。
こんなのはダム戦争の頃はお手の物だったよ。絶対にレナをかばいきってみせる。あとケイちゃん、レナはケイちゃんのことは特に信頼してた。だからレナの方からケイちゃんのところに現れる可能性がある。その時にはすぐ保護してあげてほしい。その時は私にもすぐ連絡してね。
お、わかったぜ。
レナは強い子だからね。きっとこんな苦難も乗り越えてみせるよ。
そうだな。
I hesitated to say something. Rena hadn't been her normal self lately. If she was her normal self, I'd have no doubt that she could overcome this. But Rena is deeply convinced that Takano-san's delusions are true. Rena believes the Sonozaki family is behind the conspiracy. I'm not sure if she'd trust the Sonozaki family to protect her.
大丈夫だよ。私とレナだって仲間同士なんだからさ。腹を割って話せばすぐに誤解だって分かってくれるよ。ケイちゃんだって私と話して誤解が解けたんでしょ。よくもまああんなとんでも話を信じたもんだよ。
まあな、我ながらよくあんな話を鵜呑みにしたもんだぜ。前原圭一、多分一生の恥だぜ。やれやれ。
I really was deeply convinced until I talked to Mion. Even after the promise of friendship we made, I doubted her. Takano-san was endowed with magic, and I think the scrapbooks she wrote also carried a spell. The scrapbooks can make people go mad. They are forbidden scrapbooks. Nobody was supposed to read them. Rena is captivated by the power of that magic, even after Takano-san's death. I have to wake her up. I got a very bad feeling about it.
ああ、ごめん、来客だわ。なんだか警察っぽいな。じゃあこれで電話を切るね。
お、わかった。
レナは今晩以降ゴグラのあたりに潜伏してることになってる。警察に何か聞かれても知りません、会ってませんで通すんだよ。
お、了解。
Mion waited for my answer, and then hung up the phone. After she hung up, I slowly started to feel like Rena was being consumed by some huge, unthinkable fate. It's not only the police I'm worried about. I'm also worried because Rena is ensnared by the power of Takano-san's magic. I fear that she might be suffering from incredible anxiety. Oh, right. Rena might be hiding at her secret base in the garbage dump. Rena once told me that she used to spend time there when Rina-san was at her house. And she told me that she hid the scrapbooks there too. If she's hiding there, she must be hungry by now. I should bring her something to eat. Okay. I went to the kitchen to look for some junk food. My mother looked confused.
母さんごめん。ちょっと出かけてくるよ。
こんな時間に？もう遅いからよしなさい。
大切な用事なんだ。すぐ戻るよ。あとそれから、もし俺が留守の間にレナが来るようなことがあったら、黙って俺の部屋に通してほしい。それからレナの所在を尋ねる電話が来たら、知らないって言って切っちゃって。
My mom looked angry that I was leaving the house at so late an hour, but I rushed out of the house before she could say anything. I grabbed the flashlight from the wall of the garage, got my bicycle, and sped off into the darkness. The moon looked beautiful, but in a creepy way. It felt like something terrible is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know it's coming. Something is going to happen. The moon, seemingly knowing just what that something would be, looked like he was laughing at us, pacing back and forth in confusion. Damn it. Laugh all you want. Laugh at this funny story as much as you want. I'm not going to laugh. I'm going to fight. I'm going to smash through whatever fate is waiting for us. Lena, I hope you're there. Maybe my bicycle needs some oil? He was making a lousy noise as I pedaled. Damn it. Even my bicycle is laughing at us. Tell me about it. The story has been laughing at me since chapter 1.